talk about both of you. What attracted each of you to the roles?
I've never played a mean character, really. I got the sides, and I said, this would be fun. And then I read it. I'm like, oh, it's a vampire movie. I go, but these sides, how can they pull that off with the vampire movie? Because I was just used to, you know, the Twilight stuff around then. And then I ended up reading the script. I'm like, wow, this is a really good script, and it's not, you know, your typical vampire movie, obviously. And I really liked the part, and I've never played a mean character, so I was just really interested in doing that and bullying Cody.
Well, how do you get prepared to be mean then? Because you seem like a really happy, nice guy.
I am a very happy guy. You know, I get there and look at Cody and I get mad. No, I'm just kidding. I have a mean side to me.
I guess that's what you do.
So, just pull out that side.
Channel that, yeah, got it. And Cody, what about you?
I read the script and I really liked the character and the whole script. Like you said, it's not a typical vampire movie. It's different. It's like the real side of vampires, kind of more sad side, I guess. And yeah, I really liked the characters, and I liked my character and how he had like a whole life going on inside of him, and was very to himself, and yeah, I really liked it all.
Well, like you mentioned, Twilight. You know, I think a lot of people your age think of, when they think of a vampire movie, they think of Twilight. So how was it different, do you guys think? You know, talking to people your age, how would you tell them it's different?
Well, for one, she doesn't sparkle.
She burns.
And, yeah, she burns. And, but, yeah, you tell him, Cody.
I remember when I saw the film for the first time, I just remember coming out and thinking that it didn't feel like a normal movie. It was kind of weird. And I think it really brings you into it because the whole movie is always going to people's point of view, and you see their point of view and what's it like to be them, and then you just have a side of everyone's story. And I'm not sure, it has a different feeling to it.
Yeah, and even with Kenny, my character, he's a bully, but in the end he ends up having a backstory, and you end up knowing why he does it. So
yeah.
I really like that, and I really enjoy that too.
That's awesome. And what about the Swedish version? Did you guys ever end up watching that before you did this movie, or was it not even out yet? Because I know Matt took it on prior.
I don't know if it was out. I didn't know about it when I auditioned for it, but I ended up later watching the DVD, and I have the book, but I haven't read it. But I knew about it after I had done it and stuff. So yeah.
Cody, did you ever read the book? Or
I knew. Well, actually, when I was reading it, I actually didn't know that there was a book or a movie that existed. And then I looked it up, and I saw that there was a movie and a book, and I didn't see the movie. I chose not to, and then Matt didn't want anyone to see the movie because we kind of wanted to have our own take on it. And when I was done, the whole thing, I went and I ordered it straight away and watched it, and I loved it. It's pretty intense.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. I haven't seen the Swedish version either, but I heard it's very similar in some respects, though, too, because there's a big fan base around the movie and everything. Yeah. And so it comes out next Friday, right?
Yes, October 1st.
Yeah.
Go check it out.
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you, guys.
All right, thank you.
Well, thank you. All right. Well, thank you guys for coming in, of course. Matt, talk about why you wanted to do this movie.
Well, you know, I just finished Cloverfield, and I was trying to get something that was really a passion project of mine made, and it was actually a year before the Swedish film came out. And one of the places that I met with to talk about my film wanted to remake this film, and they showed it to me, and I was blown away. And then I read the novel, and I fell in love with this story because I thought that it was amazing the way the author had come up with this idea of doing a vampire story that was really smuggling in a story about the pain of adolescence. And it just sort of dug into me, and I really wanted to do it.
That's awesome. Talk about your character.
Well, I play the policeman who he actually tries to investigate these strange murders that are happening in this little town. Like Matt, I fell in love with Cody's journey.
He wanted to play the role.
I actually wanted to audition for it.
He wanted to play the 12-year-old, yeah.
But I felt like it's over, isn't it, to play a 12-year-old?
I don't think you could do it, yeah.
Yeah, but there's a 12-year-old in me.
With the right makeup.
Yeah. So I felt that it was just a good challenge to try to somehow bear witness to events, really, you know, and trying to find a sort of compassionate sort of, you know, investigatory. Is that a word?
Investigatory, yes.
Yeah. Balance to it, and plus, you know, I'm a huge fan of Matt's. We had worked together on a TV pilot, and we had lunch, and it was a great connection. And when this became available, and you know, any way I can. I mean,
You know, his character is really the moral sort of eyes of the movie, trying to look at how these things could happen, you know, this sort of things that seem like serial killers. And just having known Elias and what an amazing actor he is, but also what an incredibly soulful person, I knew that he would bring that to the role. So I was so happy that he wanted to do it.
Because you do have a lot of compassion for the people.
Yeah, I mean, I thought, and that's something that we talked about, and there's no other way to approach it other than you're just, because there is no backstory. So you're really just somehow bearing witness to events and with some sort of open heart, you know, without, you know. And to me, it was like I felt like I was some sort of ghost kind of going over some steps that where did I go wrong? Where did this character, what led to where he eventually goes? And so, yeah, it was interesting.
Well, and you know, the vampire genre, so popular, so many things dealing with vampires, and a whole new group of people, you know, young people are into it because of Twilight. Just like I was asking the other guys, how would this movie be distinguished, though, from the popular Twilight series? Because it is a lot more dark in some aspects.
Well, I mean, the thing about it is, it's interesting because this is very much an adult story. And the Twilight series is kind of a grand fantasy. And I think what I responded to in Lindquist's novel and also in the original film was, as strange as it sounds, it's a very realistic vampire film. And by that, what I mean is it's about people's lives, and it's about real situations, real emotions under the surface of what is a grand fantasy. And I think that's what makes it sort of different, is that it's a vampire film that really relates to your life, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. And the thing with, you know, vampires, certainly popular with so many people, and how much of the original movie did you end up seeing? Because I haven't seen the original movie, but from what I've read, there were many scenes that were very similar, and I'm assuming that was done on purpose.
Well, the novel was written by this guy, John Lindquist, and he adapted his novel. He wrote the screenplay for the Swedish film, and it's very, very faithful to his novel because he was the one who wrote the screenplay. And the films that are the same, the scenes that are the same between both films are really the scenes that were taken verbatim from the novel. And so there's a lot of the same material because it's the stuff that really made me fall in love with the story in the first place, which is the stuff from Lindquist's novel.
Yeah, and were you able to see the Swedish film before?
I did. Yeah, that's actually the first thing I saw. The overture, when I went to them and was talking to them about another project, they said, we're trying to get the rights to this film, and you should see it. It was about a year before the movie came out, and I watched it, and I was stunned. I just thought it was, first I thought it was this story about these two kids and this coming-of-age story, and then when I realized that they were doing it under the guise of a vampire story, I was sort of blown away. I thought it was great.
That's really nice. And this is first time in Austin, same for you?
It is my second time. The first time was a very, very brief stay when I came for South by Southwest, which was amazing. It was great.
And so this is the U.S. premiere here at Fantastic Fest tonight?
Yes, tonight we're having our U.S. premiere of the film, and then we open on the 1st, on Friday, in theaters. So.
And did Tim and Harry find you guys to come to Fantastic Fest, or how did that work?
They did, actually. Harry and Tim watched the movie, and they really seemed to love it, and I was thrilled because they said, we want to do it as our opening gala for the festival, and I was incredibly honored. So we're so happy to be here.
Fantastic. Well, and I'm a huge fan of Cloverfield. I hear there might be love Cloverfield. I hear there might be a sequel.
He watched it with commercials last night.
And that says a lot about the movie. I stayed, you know, it's great. It's great. It sucks you in.
What about the sequel? I hear that's a possibility.
Somewhere down the line, yeah, we're
policeman
talking about it. There could be a policeman who wants to understand it all.
Yeah.
You're ready.
And he's 12, though. That's the
Is he
weird thing.
12?
Yeah, it's going to be strange.
I think I'll be, just give me a couple of months preparation.
I think we can work on it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Hey,